Welcome, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Chibilution Podcast. The Chibilution Podcast, where we believe the Empire did nothing wrong. Anyways, this is the very first, the inaugural Chibilution Podcast. Sometimes I'll have guests here, sometimes I won't. And we'll just talk about a variety of topics. Sometimes we'll have a schedule of what we talk about. Sometimes we won't. We'll just kind of ramble on about anything. So I was actually debating of not doing it this week. I was going to do it next week because I have been at the mechanics all day from 9:30 a.m. to almost 5 o'clock p.m. I actually left the parking lot at 4:54 p.m. is when I actually left the parking lot. So, yeah, I actually had a nice long list of things to do today for the various projects I'm doing. Like Jasper. I'm going to do reviews on this channel, so I have a lot of reviews written out. I was going to work on CJCW. I was going to work on the Final Fantasy VII fan dub. And I got none of those done. So yeah, here we are. And I really don't have much to talk about today. I think the biggest thing right now is I'm actually... I know for those who talk to me quite a bit, which are probably the only ones who are going to be watching this video, I have had a lot of problems with the Ruby series by Rooster Teeth. And a lot of it is because they started all of these storylines, they started all of these relationships, not in terms of romantic relationships, but just they interacted in a very serious way. So, and then they just kind of dropped it. And I think my biggest issue is they drop these things that are very important to drop, or very important not to drop, rather. And they just, I don't know, they just kind of forgot about everything. And so, yeah, in the new season, I believe it's volume 6. I think it's now the season 6. They're bringing a lot of that stuff back into it. They're making the Silver Eyes important. Yes, I know they brought it up a couple times last season. But this season they're actually doing it. We're actually seeing progress in that in that sub-story. And then there's a lot of other good things I really like. Yeah, I think so far, I'm not going to say it's flawless. There's a lot of flaws in it, and maybe I'll go through it as I go along. But, man, it's really good. I'm really excited for it. Another anime I've actually gotten really into lately is Black Clover. Now, granted, it's not that I just got into it. I've actually been into it for a while. I watched it on Toonami, and I try not watching it on Crunchyroll, just because I get so excited for something that I will, binge watch it. And so I'm trying to, control myself on that. But, yeah, I definitely recommend you guys... if you like the kind of shonen anime, like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. Well, not really Dragon Ball Z as much, but like Naruto and stuff like that, where it has an overarching story, but it's separated into specific arcs. Where I can't really say that about My Hero Academia, because that's literally one giant arc. So, but yeah, I really like Black Clover. I'm all caught up on My Hero Academia, so I can't really say I'm into that. I'm waiting for the next season to come out. And so, Yeah, I'm just kind of rambling. I'm sorry about that. This is not going to be a real long podcast. The later ones will be a little bit better structured. Like I said, I was going to record one. I was even going to set up a thing, but then when I had to go to the mechanics, and it was probably about 1:00, and so I just decided that I'll just save it for next week. And then I'm like, you know what? No, I'll do one. So, sorry if this seems just kind of everywhere. I'm trying to just come up with things, to be honest, on the fly. The next ones will be a lot more structured. Probably. Let's see, what's some other animes I like watching? Sword Art Online. I haven't watched I think isn't there like a third season of it? I haven't watched it yet, if it exists. There's actually a lot of animes I need to continue watching, even if I don't like it. Like Tokyo Ghoul. I need to watch the new season of Tokyo Ghoul, or the new series of Tokyo Ghoul, depending on what you want to call it. Because I've been told that it's really, really good in comparison to the last season. Which in my opinion isn't that hard. The second season was pretty crappy in terms of storytelling, and maybe I'll get into that through reviews and things like that. And a lot of my reviews, like in terms of like shows and stuff, they'll be for the most part improv. Like I may have bullet points that I want to cover, but I'll probably have a lot of them like my video game reviews, and then some of my other ways of reviewing will be scripted. But like movie reviews and like anime season reviews, I probably will have that a little less structured. I just think that's better in terms of like that. And I may change my mind and have like complete scripts and everything, and either way will be good. I think either way it'll be entertaining. Less if I have it scripted, because I say that a lot. My mom actually makes fun of me because I say it so much, but it just helps me keep my thoughts together. Even when I have a script, though, I will go if like my mind goes blank. Even though I'm reading the paper, my mind just gets ahead of myself. And so I'll be like, I actually, the other day, I have started binge watching certain channels that I haven't watched their videos in a while. And I actually started binge watching, this guy's name is Blame It on Jorge. I think it's either Blame It on Jorge or Blame It on George. I actually don't pay attention enough whenever he brings up his name. So I honestly don't know how to pronounce his name. I assume Blame It on Jorge. But I could be wrong. So he does a lot of like top 40 disturbing moments in cartoons and kids cartoons, top 40 band episodes, stuff like that. Like stuff I'm really interested in. And I have just been binge watching all of those kind of videos. I actually, before I had supper tonight, I didn't binge watch, I just watched, I think it was top 7 Lost Sesame Street bits. And I didn't finish it because I had to eat supper. Because I was hungry, because I spent all day at a mechanics shop. My lunch today was a bag of trail mix, and I'm not blaming the people at the mechanic shop. They did a great job. My car is not good as new, but pretty damn good. And so good job to Ford Ltd. If any of you guys so happen to hear this, but they did a great job. Just I didn't have a way to get around. So I was stuck there. That's my only complaint, is I was stuck there. And it had nothing to do with them. It was all on me. And it was raining too. That really didn't help either. So I pretty much just I wrote some stuff down for the various projects I'm doing, like Jasper and CJCW, which I hope you guys will like. I'll probably have playlists on all my channels that I control, which is like Fedora Bridged, CJCW, which I need to pay people to make logos for. And before anyone comments like, oh, I can make a logo for you, I already have 2 people who make logos for me. So you don't have to worry about it. I just have to tell them, like, hey, can I have a logo, please? But yeah, Fedora Bridged, Chibi Joe shows, which I need to come up with another logo for that, so it's something to be different than my main channel. Chibi Joe, and then Fedora Bridged. I think I named them on multiple times. Fedora Bridge is where my Fandub and Jasper will go. CJCW will, of course, be for CJCW. Chibi Joe shows is where, like, my podcast, like this right here, is going to go on. Like I said, it's also going to be on my other channels, just in playlists. And then Chibi Joe will, of course, be my gaming videos and things like that, which a lot of those I will actually use for my reviews. Whenever I review a game I've played, I'll just use footage from my own channel. That way I don't have to ask other people, hey, can I use your footage? I don't have to worry about that. I just use mine. Or I can re-record it, because there's going to be one review that'll probably end up being my first, where I have just recorded footage. It's not a game I've played on the channel. I've complained to Light, who voices Aerith in the Final Fantasy VII Fandub. And she'll probably voice characters in my other projects too. And I also voice a lot in her projects. I'll have her channel linked down below. Because definitely check her out. I also have Blame It on Jorge's channel, just because you need to support those 2 channels. One, Light puts a lot of work into her Fandubs and all that stuff. And I think she's coming up with a really big project this year. She's told me she's going to try it, but I know as well as anyone that life can get away even when you're doing a big project. Like, I was hoping to get CJCW going by this time, and it just didn't happen. I don't know how I got on this subject, but it's getting a lot easier to ramble when I'm just letting everything flow. That's the first thing. If you guys are doing a solo podcast and it's not like a certain genre of podcast, just seriously, just let it rip. Unless you're a raging racist or sexist or any other that's against a certain kind of people, then don't say anything at all, because I don't want to hear it. Of course, I'll just probably not watch if I know that you're any of those things. So, I guess still do your podcast, just be prepared for the backlash. Of course, I'll have backlash too if anyone from the Ruby fanbase hears that I absolutely hated Volumes 1 and 2. And then you might be asking, well, why did you watch this show? It's because, and I've said this to people and they still don't understand why I put myself through it. There is a certain charm to Ruby, and it has nothing to do with the show, nothing to do with the characters, nothing to do with the animation. The music does have a part of it. The music's amazing. Good job, whoever those people are who made the music. I probably should read that up. I'm so good with research, aren't I? Anyways, Casey Lee Williams, I know, is the little girl. I don't know if she's little. She's probably like 16, 17 now. But either way, music's amazing. That's partially why, just because I like listening to the music, especially the first season intro. It's amazing. But it's a charm of potential because it's such an open world. And up until volume 5, you really didn't know much about the world. And that's a bad thing. It really was a bad thing. But in terms of people like me who like writing fan fictions, I love writing fan fictions. I like putting the characters in different situations, Usually I usually have mine MA just because if I end up writing a lot of F words or something like that, I like keeping it rated M just so then people know, yeah, there might be some weird things. Because I really don't plan out my stories great. I have like moments, and then none of those moments get into the final story. Or if they do, it's like heavily changed from the original idea. So like with Ruby, up until like volume 5, kind of volume 4, but really until volume 5, you really didn't know a whole bunch. And so you can literally write anything in those fan fictions. And as far as anyone else besides the writers of the show and the late Montium, this could possibly have been canon. Unless you're like shipping characters that obviously will not get together. Then, of course, that's pretty obvious. Like, I think it was pretty obvious from volume 2, at least from my perspective, that Blake and Sun were going to get together. I honestly didn't like it at first, but in volume 4 and then volume 5, I started really enjoying it because you actually saw them interact more instead of just 3-4 scenes in volume 2. So it was actually really good. But yeah, just like little things like that, I really enjoyed Ruby for. It was the openness of the world. I also hated it because it felt lazy. But in terms of fan fiction writing, it was great because I could do whatever the heck I wanted. And no one's going to tell me, well, that's not how the world works. It's like, well, we don't know how the world works. Not yet, at least. So, yeah. So, like, that was a lot of fun. Learning about the world in volume 5 and stuff like that. Even though a lot of the stuff in my fan fictions that I wrote, I felt kind of stupid because now it's like, oh, crap. Now people can actually tell me that's not how the world works. But then I can just say, oh, it's an alternate universe where it does work like this. Ha, ha, ha. Which I never really posted many of my Ruby fanfics because I had a few of them. And I just never posted them because I never felt that they were good enough to be shown. I do have a few. I don't know if they're still up. Because I'm pretty sure I deleted my account on fanfiction.net. Or at least I can't log into it anymore. So I have no idea if it actually still exists. But I had one for Blue Exorcist, one of my favorite animes of all time. I think I had one for Naruto. Let me think. There was one more I posted, and I don't remember it. I know I was writing one for, what was it? Neon Genesis? Was that what it was called? Let me look this up. I think it was Neon Genesis. No. Evangelion. And it was based in the movie universe. And it was after the first one. It was like an alternate timeline, like it branches off from the first one. And it was like one of the Americans gets transferred over there in his mech, which had like no guns or missiles or anything. It was just like a sword mech. It was really cool. I actually had to study up on a lot of the lore of Evangelion to get everything correct. And yeah. So I think that'll be done for right now. If you guys like this kind of where I just kind of say random things that come to mind and I hop from place to place to place, then I can start doing it that way. If you want it more structured, then let me know then. I know if I have guests, it'll be a little bit more structured because there'll be more than just me. And so these podcasts will go a lot longer with someone else other than 20 minutes. I'm surprised it's been this long. I think I just hit the mic, so sorry about that. So yeah, like whichever style you like, go. Let me know, please. So that's all of you guys today. Have an awesome day and a good night.